There are brand new SUVs sitting on dealer lots right now that have been there so long, the tires are developing flat spots. Not last year's models, 2026 models, factory fresh, full warranty. And nobody wants them. Some of these have been parked in the back row for 90, 120, even 160 days. And the only reason the dealer hasn't sent them to auction is because the manufacturer keeps sending bigger rebates to make them look like deals. But a deal on a car nobody wants is still a car nobody wants. I pulled the dealer inventory data from Cars.com, Car Gurus, and Markleans, not the press releases, the actual lot counts, and found 12 new SUVs that are genuinely rotting on dealer lots in 2026. Some of them are from brands you'd expect, but a few are from brands that used to have waiting lists. And the one at number 12 is sitting on lots for so long that I found a listing where the dealer's own photos show dust on the hood. Dust on a new car. That tells you everything. 12 SUVs, counting up. After each one, I'll tell you why it's not selling, what the dealer will never admit about it, and whether the massive discount actually makes it worth buying now. Because here's the thing. Some of these are bad cars. But some of these are genuinely good cars that just got destroyed by bad timing, bad marketing, or a price that made no sense from day one. Let's sort them out. Number 1. The Buick Envista. The Envista is the car that proves you can do everything right on paper and still fail because nobody knows you exist. It's a compact SUV, technically a crossover, with a reasonable price, decent fuel economy, and an interior that looks more expensive than it is. And it's been averaging over 100 days on dealer lots since it launched. The problem is the name, Buick. Buick's average buyer is over 60 years old. The people who would actually benefit from the Envista, younger buyers looking for value, have never walked into a Buick dealership and never will. An owner in Michigan bought one for $23,000 with $3,000 off sticker because it had been sitting for 112 days. His insurance through Progressive runs $152 a month. His maintenance after 18 months, $410 total. The car is fine. The brand is invisible. If this had a Chevrolet badge, it would be selling twice as fast. Number 2, the Chevrolet Blazer EV. This is what happens when a launch goes so badly that the damage becomes permanent. The Blazer EV debuted with software problems so severe that Chevrolet literally told dealers to stop selling it. They paused deliveries. They issued recalls before most customers had taken delivery. And even though the problems were eventually fixed, the reputation was set in concrete. Right now, Blazer EVs are averaging between 90 and 130 days on lots. The 2026 models work. The software is stable. The driving experience is actually good. Owners who bought post-fix say the range is accurate, the charging is reliable, and the interior quality is above average for the price. But the first impression was so catastrophic that buyers moved to the Equinox EV, which launched cleanly and costs less. A Blazer EV RS in California was listed for $47,000 with a $9,000 discount after sitting for 141 days. That's a $47,000 car selling for $38,000, and it's still sitting. Number 3, the Volkswagen ID.4. The ID.4 was supposed to be Volkswagen's answer to the Tesla Model Y. It was going to be the electric car for normal people, sensible, well-built, German-engineered. And in 2022, it had a waiting list. People were paying over sticker. Dealers were adding markups. 2 years later, there are ID.4s on lots that have been there for over 120 days. What happened? 3 things. First, the infotainment system. VW uses a capacitive touch interface with almost no physical buttons, and owners describe it as laggy, unintuitive, and dangerous to use while driving. Second, the charging speed. The ID.4 charges slower than the competition at DC fast chargers, peak rates around 135 kilowatts when competitors are doing 250. And third, and this is the one dealers won't say, the residual value collapsed. A 2023 ID.4 that's stickered at $43,000 is now worth about $24,000 on CarMax. That's a 44% loss in 2 years. Buyers figured that out, and the lots filled up. Number 4, the Nissan Ariya. The Ariya is the EV that automotive journalists praised and consumers ignored. It drives well. The interior is genuinely premium for the price. The range is competitive. And it has been averaging over 110 days on dealer lots for the past 6 months. The problem is that Nissan's brand equity has been declining for a decade. The Altima got cheaper, the Rogue got more rental fleet heavy, the Pathfinder lost its identity. And by the time the Ariya arrived, a genuinely good electric SUV, nobody was walking into Nissan dealerships looking for a premium anything. An Ariya Engage Plus in Texas was listed at $44,000 with a $7,000 manufacturer incentive plus a $3,000 dealer discount. That's $34,000 for a car that's stickered at $44,000. $10,000 off a new car is not a deal. It's a signal. Number 5. The Dodge Hornet. The Hornet is an Alfa Romeo Tonale with a Dodge badge built in Italy on an Alfa Romeo platform. And that sentence is the entire problem. Dodge buyers want muscle, power, and American identity. The Hornet is a compact Italian crossover with a turbocharged 2.0-liter four-cylinder. It's like putting a cowboy hat on a cappuccino. Dealer lots have Hornets that have been sitting for over 100 days. The RT plug-in hybrid version is even worse, averaging 130 days because it costs over $40,000, and buyers at that price point want a RAV4 Prime or a Sportage PHEV, not a Dodge they've never heard of. An owner in Arizona bought a GT for $26,000, $5,000 off sticker, and his insurance through GEICO runs $188 a month. The car itself is fine. Good handling, decent interior, reasonable fuel economy. But nobody cross-shops a Dodge and an Alfa Romeo, and nobody knows what the Hornet is supposed to be. Number 6. The Infiniti QX50. The QX50 has been on this kind of list for 3 years running, and the fact that Infiniti hasn't made meaningful changes tells you everything about the brand's strategy, or lack of one. The QX50 uses a variable compression turbo engine that's technically brilliant and practically irrelevant to buyers who just want a reliable luxury SUV. Dealer lots are averaging over 90 days for the QX50, and the discounts are aggressive, $8,000 to $12,000 off sticker depending on the market. An owner in New Jersey bought a Luxe trim for $38,000, down from $49,000 on the sticker, after it sat for 118 days. His insurance through Liberty Mutual runs $234 a month. His biggest complaint isn't the engine, it's the infotainment, which feels 2 generations behind the competition. The QX50 is a car from 2019 being sold in 2026, and the lots prove it. Number 7, the Alfa Romeo Tonale. If the Dodge Hornet is a Tonale with a different badge, the Tonale is a Hornet with a higher price and less brand recognition in America. Alfa Romeo sells fewer cars in the entire United States than Toyota sells in a single week. The Tonale is a perfectly competent compact luxury SUV that nobody is shopping for because nobody walks into an Alfa Romeo dealer by accident. Tonales are averaging over 130 days on lots. The PHEV version, which is genuinely good on paper, is even worse because it starts above $45,000, which puts it against the BMW X1, the Audi Q3, and the Mercedes GLA. And when a buyer is choosing between a BMW and an Alfa Romeo at the same price, the BMW wins every time because it has a service network, brand recognition, and a resale value that Alfa Romeo simply cannot match. Number 8. The Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. The Eclipse Cross has 2 problems. The first is the name. The Eclipse was a beloved sports car. The Eclipse Cross is a compact crossover. Naming it. Eclipse Cross is like naming your new minivan Mustang wagon. It just makes people angry. The second problem is that the Eclipse Cross looks exactly like it did when it launched in 2018, which means it's competing against redesigned competitors with 8-year-old styling. Dealer lots are averaging 90 to 110 days. Mitsubishi is offering $7,000 to $9,000 off sticker on some trims. An owner in Georgia bought an SE for $22,000, $8,000 below sticker, and his insurance through State Farm runs $142 a month. The car is reliable. The warranty is excellent. 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. But nobody wants to be seen in it. And in the SUV market, how a car looks matters as much as how it drives. Number 9. The Lincoln Corsair. The Corsair is the luxury version of the Ford Escape. And that sentence is exactly why it's sitting on lots. Lincoln's problem is demographic. Their average buyer is 64 years old. The brand has no cultural relevance with buyers under 50. And the Corsair, while genuinely comfortable and well-equipped, looks like a car designed by committee for a customer who no longer exists. Corsairs are averaging 90 to 120 days on lots. The Grand Touring plug-in hybrid version is particularly slow-moving because it costs above $50,000, which puts it against the Lexus NX 450h Plus and the BMW X3 30e, both of which have stronger brand pull. An owner in Virginia bought a reserve trim for $41,000, $7,000 off sticker, and describes the ownership experience as really nice but forgettable. That quote is the Corsair in 4 words. Number 10. The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4i6. This is one of the good ones that got killed by pricing. The Grand Cherokee 4X is a plug-in hybrid with genuine off-road capability, a luxurious interior, and 25 miles of electric range, enough for most daily commutes. The problem is that it starts at over $60,000, and the gas-only Grand Cherokee does 90% of the same thing for $15,000 less. Grand Cherokee 4Xs are averaging over 100 days on lots. Jeep has been offering manufacturer rebates of up to $7,000, plus dealers are discounting another $3,000 to $5,000. That means you can buy a $65,000 Grand Cherokee 4XE for roughly $53,000 to $55,000. But at that price, buyers wonder why they don't just buy the gas version for $45,000 and pocket the $10,000. The PHEV math only works if gas is $5 a gallon and the federal tax credit applies. And for most buyers, neither of those things is true right now. Number 11, the Cadillac Lyriq. The Lyriq is the first SUV on this list that I genuinely feel bad for. It's beautiful. The interior is stunning. A 33-inch curved display that makes the Mercedes EQS look cluttered. The driving experience is smooth, quiet, and premium. And it is sitting on dealer lots for an average of 90 to 120 days because the electric luxury SUV market is oversaturated and Cadillac's brand perception hasn't caught up with the product. A Lyriq Tech trim in Florida was listed at $58,000 with a $6,000 manufacturer incentive after sitting for 109 days. Buyers at that price are choosing the Tesla Model Y, which costs $20,000 less, or the BMW iX, which has the badge. Cadillac built the right car at the wrong time. For a customer who doesn't yet believe that Cadillac makes electric cars worth $60,000, in 5 years, used Lyriqs will be one of the best EV bargains on the market. Right now, they're collecting dust. Number 12, the BMW iX. And here's the one I teased at the beginning. The SUV is so stagnant on lots that dealer photos show dust on the hood. The BMW iX is a $75,000 to over $100,000 electric SUV with a design that approximately half the population finds revolutionary and the other half finds hideous. That split killed its sales. The iX xDrive 50 in particular, which starts at about $84,000, is averaging over 140 days on lots. BMW is offering financing incentives, loyalty bonuses, and lease deals that bring the effective cost down significantly. But the problem isn't just the price. It's the design, the oversized kidney grille, the minimalist interior that some describe as cold and sterile, and the fact that for $84,000, you can buy a fully loaded BMW X5 with a combustion engine that looks like a BMW is supposed to look and holds its value dramatically better. An owner in Connecticut bought an iX xDrive 50 for $72,000, $12,000 off sticker, after it sat for 158 days. His insurance through Travelers runs $380 a month, and his biggest frustration isn't the car, it's that his neighbors ask him what brand it is. When you spend $72,000 on a BMW and people don't recognize it as a BMW, the design failed. So 12 new SUVs, all rotting on dealer lots, all with real reasons why nobody is buying them. Some are bad cars, some are good cars with bad marketing, and some are great cars that just cost too much for what the brand can justify. Here's my honest take. If you're a bargain hunter and you don't care about depreciation, numbers 3, 10, 11, and 12, the ID.4, the Grand Cherokee 4X, the Lyriq, and the iX are genuinely excellent vehicles being sold at massive discounts because of market conditions, not because of quality problems. If you plan to keep one for 7 to 10 years, the depreciation becomes irrelevant and you're driving a car that costs 30 to 40% less than it should. But if you care about resale value and total cost of ownership, avoid numbers 1 through 9. The discounts are tempting, but the depreciation will eat every dollar you saved and then some. Drop your pick below. Which one would you buy at the current discount? And which one would you avoid, even if they paid you? I want to see where the audience lands. Check my pinned comment. I left the current Car Gurus and Cars.com listings for all 12, including the average days on lot and the biggest discounts I found while researching this video. Everything you need is in one comment. And if you want to know which SUVs are selling, the ones that never sit on lots because they move too fast, that's the next video. It's the opposite of this list, and the number one might surprise you. That's the next one.